Hey y'all, this is Tonetta, your relationship coach and Speak Your Truth. I hope everybody's doing okay this evening. Just keep in mind that Speak Your Truth is where Speak Your Truth is where I educate you and inspire you to, of course, be who you are and speak your truth within your own relationship. So keep that in mind, y'all. That's what Speak Your Truth stands for. I guess I put it that way. And tonight I'm actually talking to you all about dating. I know I haven't talked about a lot about dating on this on this page a lot, but I had someone approach me on the past weekend asking about can I give some tips about dating. They haven't dated in a while. I think it was over a year or two or so. And they were like out the game for a while, haven't dated, that kind of thing. It was wanting some tips on how they can best approach their next date that they had coming up. So I want to make sure that I did this video for them, just to make sure that they're, of course, checking it out and looking at it and making sure that they're taking these 10 things to think about into consideration for their next date. And like I said, I know dating, we all have, I'm sure, including myself, have been on dates. We all know that dates can definitely be nerve-wracking. They can be daunting. And then we can just be like, oh my God, I'm so nervous. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to respond. I don't know what questions to ask, that kind of thing. Like I said, I hope that these 10 things that I'm about to talk to you about right now, I hope that they put some, make a light bulb go off in your head to make you think about some of the things that you can, of course, talk about, think about, make sure you're paying attention to as well on your next date or your first date that's coming up. So just keep that in mind. So I'm going to go ahead and get in the first one. And these are in no particular order. They are all out of order because that's how my mind works sometimes. I just wrote down 10 things that I thought. And like I said, they're not in any particular order. But definitely what I would say about all these things about the date nights is make sure that you be your own judge of your own situation. If you feel that you don't want to talk about whatever it is I'm saying on one of these 10 things, make sure that you don't bring it up in the conversation. And if it's brought up in the conversation, make sure that you let your potential partner know that you don't feel comfortable talking about it right now, or there's something that you don't want to talk about. You be the judge of what you want to, of course, like I said, what you want to have conversation around when you're having your dates. The person that you're meeting, yes, they'll ask you probably all kind of questions and trying to get to know you and that kind of thing, because that's what dating's for. But just keep in mind that you have to be the judge in order to know what you want to talk about and know what you feel comfortable about talking about and sharing as well on these dates. So just keep that in mind, y'all. The first thing I have written down here is that first impressions matter. Of course, we all know, I hope that we all know, that when it comes to dating, making sure that you have, of course, good hygiene, making sure you showered, put on some nice clean clothes, that kind of thing as well. I don't care whatever kind of style you have, goth or whatever kind of style you have, just make sure that you're, of course, dressing with clean clothes, smelling fresh, looking good, you combed your hair, brushed your hair, or whatever you did to your hair. If you want to put on makeup, that kind of thing, put that on. Don't just go willy-nilly and just looking all kind of ways and shirt has stains all down the front and you haven't showered, all those kind of things. Make sure that you're putting on the best first impression that you can. So, that, of course, let them know that you're interested in coming to this date and that you, of course, the main thing, care about yourself and the way that you look and the way that you present yourself to others. So keep that in mind. So that, like I said, that's number one. The next thing I have down, relax and be yourself. I know some people, of course, are very nervous, of course, when it comes to dating. And I know sometimes it's hard to, of course, be yourself. You want to try to put on the best, show you want to put on, that kind of thing. But like I always say, please make sure that you're being yourself. You don't want to show up being somebody that you're not, because we all know that once you, of course, get to your second, third date, if it goes to that route, if you all are getting into like a more serious relationship, that whatever kind of way you wanted to act, I guess I put it that way, especially if it was not the truth for you, you're going to have to keep up those things, unless you're going to look like you're lying and all these things are going on. And the best thing is not to lie about who you are, what's going on with you, what you like, all those kind of things at all, but just be yourself. Like I said, you definitely don't have to act outside your norm, because like I said, that is definitely something that people have done, I'm sure, but you have to keep up that act, I guess I put it that way, I guess like for the second date, third date. If you're going to get into like a long-term relationship, you have to keep up that act. And for a lot of folks, it's definitely hard to do, but you definitely do not want to go into a relationship being dishonest. My main thing, speak your truth, is about speaking your truth and being honest with the person that you are, and of course speaking what you know about yourself and that kind of thing as well. Please don't go into a relationship being dishonest and acting like you're somebody that you're not. You want to make sure that you're acting like yourself and being relaxed and, of course, being yourself the whole time, not anybody else, y'all. I'm trying to see if there's anything. I did include some other things down here as well about being yourself. I know I did say be yourself, but just keep in mind that if this is your first date, your first few dates, that kind of thing, and you don't want to get into the restaurant or wherever you all are dating at, and cursing and yelling and acting all ghetto and all this stuff going on, make sure that you have a certain repertoire, I guess, about yourself. Make sure that you're presenting yourself in I can't say professional manner, but just a nice manner, I guess I put it that way. You don't have to be cursing and yelling or acting all ghetto and just all F this and do all these kind of things. Make sure that you're at least, of course, respecting yourself and the date that you're out with, instead of course, disrespecting yourself with the cursing and the yelling and howling and all these kind of things. Yes, it's fine to be yourself, but of course, make sure that you tone all that stuff down. You definitely don't want to be acting all ignorant, I guess, in front of the potential date. I'm sure you won't have a next date, I guess I put it that way. So let me see. The next thing, of course, I put down is to have a list of icebreaker questions to get the conversation flowing. You can ask all types of questions on dates. I mean, what your favorite color is, asking them whether they have pets, whether they even like pets, or whatever you want to talk about, what kind of job they do. Asking all just all the questions that you can think of to, of course, get to know somebody. I do want to say that if you all need a list of questions or a free download that you all can use when you do go on a date, make sure that you comment down below, and I can definitely create that for you. So, like I said, definitely let me know. I can create a list of icebreaker questions for dates, so let me know if you need that. But like I said, definitely a date is where you're trying to get to know the person, trying to find out who they are, what they're about, to find out whether you even gel with them, and to get a sense of their energy as well, to see what kind of person they are, to see if you even want to continue on with the date, with the next date, that kind of thing as well. So this is the time to do that. And like I said, asking all those upfront questions. Like I said, you can ask. You don't have to have any serious questions about marriage or kids or anything like that. I wouldn't suggest on the first date. But of course, if it comes up, then you all can talk about it. But if not, keep all the questions light and fun and that kind of thing, just to get to know, like I said, this person's personality, who they are, what they're about, and what their energy reads. I guess I can put it that way. Whether you feel that they're a good person, bad person, whatever your judgment of them is, I guess I put it that way. And whether you want to continue dating this person, this is the last date, you want to go on a second one, that kind of thing, or next date, like I said, you definitely have to make sure that you're asking all those types of, like I said, light and kind of fun questions, I guess I would say. I know some people, I have been on dates as well, where I was, of course, asking the heavy questions and that kind of thing about their visions and their plans and stuff like that. You can ask that as well. Like I said, whatever kind of questions you feel comfortable asking, and of course answering as well, because I'm sure they're going to ask the same thing of you, then go ahead and ask those questions. So keep that in mind. If you don't want to ask, if you ask a question but you don't want to answer it, then just don't answer that question. Just don't ask that question. Because like I said, the date that you're with, they're going to expect that if you're asking them all these things, they're going to ask you the same questions in return. So if you don't want to answer that question, do not ask that question. I guess I put it that way. That's the best thing I can tell you. And the next one kind of goes on what I just said, keeping the conversation light. Like I said, it depends on what you want to do as far as the conversation that's going on between you two on this date. If you want to keep the questions light, then do so. If you want to make them heavier, then do so. Just keep in mind that the same questions you're asking him or her, you're going to have to answer these same questions. And also just keep in mind that you don't want to. You can answer the questions, of course, however you want to answer them, but just keep in mind that sometimes the way we don't realize sometimes that the way we're asking, the way that we're answering questions may come off to be like you're complaining, or like you're like I said, just complaining and that kind of thing about whatever the situation is. You don't want to be so complaining and so just daunting on the first date, that kind of thing. Oh, I hate this. I should have did this. I should have. Just keep it kind of light as possible, and keep it as positive as you can. I guess I put it that way. Like I said, you definitely do not want to come off like you're complaining and that things are getting on your nerve and that you're sick and tired of this, and that is a turn off to people. So keep that in mind. Let me see where I'm at. Okay, the next one is I know I kind of talked about this a little while ago about being ghetto, cursing, yelling, all that kind of stuff. This one is about It says, be nice and not angry, or that a hardcore person, because others see that as a turnoff. So making sure that you're, like I said, keeping things on the positive side. Of course, you would say negative. Of course, we all have things to say about, I don't like this meal, or I don't like this, or whatever was going on. But like I said, try to keep it as positive as you can, especially for your first several few days, I guess a couple of days in the beginning. I know sometimes some things get on our nerve and we're wanting to vent and that kind of thing, but you don't want to do that on your first, second, third. I wouldn't even advise the first 5 dates, I guess I put it that way. Make sure that you're keeping your venting and your complaining and that kind of things to your girlfriends, your boyfriend, I guess your homeboys or your parents or whoever else you talk to. But like I said, I would advise to not take it on a date. But I know I can tell you all kind of things, but you can do as you please. You're all adults here. But like I said, just keep in mind that you want to make sure that you're being nice and not in an angry or depressed mood or being upset, coming in like you just want to just tear up the world and all this kind of stuff, and you scare this poor person off. So just keep that in mind, or turn them off, one of the two. And both would happen if you're doing those kind of things. So like I said, definitely make sure that you keep that in mind. And then also I put down here, I guess when you're dating, I should have put 11 tips or 11 things to think about, because I know sometimes we get into the habit, of course, wanting to date and finding dates and all these kind of things, which that is fine. But of course, keep in mind that you don't want to come off that you're desperate or telling the person that you're actually sitting across from that you don't need anything serious, or that you don't want a partner or these kind of things. You're out on a date to, of course, potentially have a partner in life. I guess I put it that way. And like I said, you definitely don't want to be sitting across from somebody. Because I know us women sometimes we're super women and this kind of thing, and I don't need a man for this, or I don't need a partner for this, all this kind of stuff. Like I said, that can definitely be a turn off for the person that's sitting across from you. So keep that in mind. And like I said, you definitely do not want to come off looking desperate, that you have to have this date, you have to stay here, you have to do this, you have to do all these things. Make sure that you calm down, and of course know that sometimes dates don't turn out right. Sometimes you will have a rejection, and sometimes you won't. So just keep that in mind. And like I said, we definitely have to make sure that we keep all those things in mind about being nice and, like I said, not angry, not desperate, those kind of things when we're going on these dates, y'all. Let me see. The next one I have is definitely one that to me is very important, because I know I'm talking about all the communication, like the 4 parts of communication, all the time, as far as the verbal, the nonverbal, the paraverbal, and the listening skills. And I know this next one is talking about picking up on the nonverbal cues the person that you're sitting across from can, of course, give off. Of course, you can always pick up if that person that you're talking to, that you're on a date with, is not even interested in you, or they are interested in you, or they are afraid or that kind of thing of what you've said or something you've done. Like I said, definitely make sure that you pick up on those nonverbal cues. And I think I have some other things on the other side of this page, so give me 1 second. Let me see. Nonverbal cues. I have all these little things written down. Of course, we know the nonverbals are things that we don't say, but the way that we have gestures, the way that we act, whether it's in front of somebody, on this video, on a date, whatever it is. And since we're talking about dating, a lot of things you'll pick up sitting across from a person. Like I said, you can definitely pick up if that person's interested or not in this relationship or in this date that you all are on, or they want to leave, or if they're bored. You can definitely pick up, like I said, the eye contact. If they're giving you eye contact, they're not giving you eye contact, or they're looking at somebody else across the room somewhere. Of course, like I said, the facial expressions, whether they're smiling, whether they're frowning when you all are talking, they'll give you the sideways look. Like I said, you can definitely pick up on a lot of things with somebody's nonverbal communication. So make sure that you're paying attention to that. It's not just the words that's coming out of their mouth, like Chris Tucker says, but it's also those nonverbals and those gestures and those actions that go with all that. So let's keep that in mind. And also, if they're attentive, like I said, leaning in towards you, like they're listening, wanting to hear what you have to say, like I said, that definitely shows that they're interested in this particular date and in you as the person that is a potential partner. Making sure that their posture, like I just said, leaning forward, that kind of thing as well. Now, if they're sitting all the way back and like, oh, I don't want to look at this and this kind of thing, you know that they're probably not even interested in the date anymore. And just keep in mind, y'all, I know I haven't said this at all, but feel free at any point, if you feel that I guess that this person's not even listening to you at all, and they're not interested at all in this date, feel free to make sure that you know that you can end the date anytime that you want to. You don't have to sit there with the person that's acting disrespectful or that's acting uninterested in you. Just keep in mind that you have more self-respect and self-worth than that. You can always let them know that you're going to leave this date, and that's it. You don't have to do anything else. But just keep in mind that it's your choice. Other nonverbals. Of course, posture. Like I said, just posture. Leaning backwards or leaning forward to, of course, listen to what you have to say. Do they seem nervous? Do they show any expression at all? Are they doing other things while you're trying to have a conversation, like talking on the phone or messing with this or looking that down of the, I guess like that down the restaurant, trying to see what this other girl has on, that kind of thing. Like I said, definitely all these nonverbal cues can definitely let you know what kind of person you're dealing with. I guess I put it that way. Like I said, you definitely do not have to sit there in a date where you feel like you're being disrespected, not listen to the person doesn't even care about what's going on with you or anything else, if they're all preoccupied with something else. Like I said, feel free and know that you have the right to end that date. I'm telling y'all that right now. You don't have to sit anywhere where you feel disrespected. The next thing is listening to each other and not being disrespectful. I know I just said that as well. Listening is one of the 4 parts of communication. Is definitely very important. You want to make sure that you're listening to everything that they say, what's going on, so that you know how to respond. Of course, not listening to, of course, listening to, of course, respond. I guess is what I wanted to say. But like I said, you definitely want to make sure that you're listening well and you're not preoccupied with thinking about what you want to say and all these kind of things. But make sure that you're listening to their words and how their tone is, how their pitch is, and like I said, with those nonverbals as well, so that you can know how to respond, so that you can know if you want to ask follow-up questions, making sure that you know, of course, be thinking about those kind of things as well. I guess while they're talking, when they're finished, that kind of thing. And if you, of course, are kind of confused on what they're talking about, making sure that you, of course, repeating back what you thought you heard them say, and they can let you know, yes, I didn't say that, no, I didn't say that, that kind of thing. So like I said, you definitely want to make sure that you're listening. I know I think I just said listening to not respond, but on a date you do want to listen to respond. Of course, like I said, especially depending on what they're talking about, what's going on, you want to make sure that you're going to listen to respond, and of course to give your answer, give your whatever else, I guess your response as well. But you also want to listen to respond, and of course to ask them more questions if that's something that you want to dive deeper on from what they said. So keep that in mind, y'all. And I know I kind of touched on this a little while ago, but saying goodbye and looking forward to the next date. You can follow up, of course, what you want to follow up, asking them at that date before you all leave, or you all looking to like schedule another one, what's going on, or if you all want to just say goodbye, shake hands, or give a hug, or however you want to end the date, and let them know that you'll be following up, or that you all will be contacting each other to find out what's going to happen next. You can do either one. Like I said, definitely think about how you want to end the date. I guess I put it that way. Some folks do schedule a next date after that, while they're there talking and all that kind of stuff, gelling together. Some folks don't. Some folks, of course, will text and call like the next day, check in, see how things were, see how they like the date. You can do that as well. So keep that in mind. You have several different options. But you have to be the one to decide what you're going to do after this date is over. I guess I put it that way. Whether you're going to be the one to, of course, respond. I don't care if you're a male or a female. Anybody can, of course, follow up, respond after a date to find out whether the person that they were dating liked the date, enjoyed your conversation, that kind of thing, and whether you all want to go on the next one. Like I said, anybody can ask those questions. Don't be intimidated saying that it's just a man's job. It's just a man's job. I don't believe in that. I believe that if you're a woman too, if you're looking to, of course, want to, of course, have a potential date or have a potential partner, at some point you have to do some following up as well and letting that person know how you feel, not just leaving it up to the other person to let you know how they feel and then you react to that. If you know that you like this person and that you want to, of course, pursue them more, that kind of thing, let them know that. They may be thinking the same thing and shy and don't want to say anything. If you're the one who, of course, feels that way as well, make sure that you're speaking up. I would advise for both folks to speak up, but I know some folks are shy, some folks are scared to speak their truth, I guess I would say. But at some point we have to learn that we have to do so in order to to find out whether these people are people that we want to continue a date with or not even mess with anymore. Like I said, you definitely have to make sure that you're shooting your shot. And always remember that, y'all. Don't be afraid to shoot your shot. Let me see. I know I put a few more things down here, 3 more things, y'all. Pay attention to those red flags. I know I was talking about red flags, I guess, a few months ago, and I'm talking about them again today in this particular video. Red flags are those things that you, of course, are questioning, trying to figure out what's going on when something don't sound right or don't feel right to you. If you're asking this person, of course, whether they've been married before, and they're, oh, that's not important, or I don't want to talk about that, or why you want to bring that kind of thing up and asking you questions about, I guess, being suspicious. Sometimes that can be a red flag. Or if this person is responding to you and saying some off the wall kind of things or being disrespectful to you, that kind of thing, that is definitely a red flag that they're probably not going to be respectful to you for the rest of the time that you all are talking. I guess I put it that way. Like I said, you definitely have to be able to pick up on those red flags, those things that, of course, may spark a light bulb within you that something don't feel right with this person. And that if you know that if you get into a relationship with this person, that it may not last or that something may be off or that kind of thing as well. You can also pick up, I guess, like I said, the red flags as to if a person is sometimes, I guess, depends on how they're talking, that kind of thing. Like I said, they can be emotionally abusive towards people. You never know. But like I said, definitely you can pick up on some of those cues. I guess I put it that way by how somebody's responding. And if you're asking questions about how they grew up, and if you're asking questions about how they respect their mom, whether they do or not, or whether they talk to their siblings and that kind of thing. If somebody's telling you that everybody like their mom and dad and their brothers and sisters and their friends they're all crazy and they don't know why they don't talk to them anymore, but they all just hating on them, that kind of thing. Usually, in that case, to me, that is definitely a red flag, because everybody around you is not crazy. If something is going on where nobody's talking to you or that person or whatever, whoever it is, and that they're saying that everybody else has shut them out their life and they don't know why, and they've always been nice to people and all these things are going on, sometimes, like I said, that majority of the time, that is definitely a red flag, that there is something that they're doing is not coming off the right way, that they're either not being honest with you or not being honest with these other folks in their lives. And like I said, they've been shut out of, I guess, lying or whatever the situation was that caused these folks to shut them out. Usually, if you're the one who, of course, everything is happening to and everybody around you is going crazy and they're blaming you for all these things, there usually is truth to that. Just keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen. But like I said, getting back to, like I said, the red flags, and I think I did a video about red flags a few months ago, and I can actually share that on the page as well, on this page as well. I can share that tomorrow, or if you all would like, I can do a free PDF for you all to download, and of course as well, I guess talking about some of those red flags. Or if you want to see the video, like I said, just let me know. I do have the video already, but if you want it written out, just let me know that as well. And I can definitely have that for you ready as well in the next week or so. Like I said, just definitely let me know. But like I said, pay attention to those red flags and do not ignore anything that you, of course, that causes a light bulb to go off in your head or that makes you feel like something is not right with this person. But always pay attention to that, y'all. The next one. I know I just talked about rejection, but if there is rejection, definitely handle it gracefully. Don't get up. If the person is not looking to date you next week or have another date with you, don't be all upset and get into your ego. Oh my God, you shouldn't have did this, and how you gonna tell me you don't want to date me? What did I do? All these kind of things. You don't have to do anything. Everybody is not for everybody. Just keep that in mind. Just because you all went on a date does not mean that this person is going to be your forever person at all. That normally does not mean that. A date is where you all are getting to know each other, finding out whether you all want to even continue on in any kind of friendship, anything. And like I said, sometimes people are rejected. Like I said, just take it gracefully. Just say okay and walk on out, whatever you want to do, I guess. But like I said, don't sit there and howl and yell at this person or call this person all kinds of names and say that they don't like you and all this kind of stuff. Like I said, keep that stuff for when you get home and talk to yourself about it. Like I said, just keep in mind that, yes, rejection will happen with dates. Everybody is not going to like you, and you're not going to like everybody. So like I said, just keep that in mind. Everybody is not for everybody, y'all. And the last thing I have down here is actually talking about sex. Because I know some folks, of course, do sleep together on the first date. They get it all lusting and all this kind of stuff. Like I said, if that's you, make sure that you know that what your intentions are. Not intentions like that, but make sure that you know if sex is something that may come up in the situation or something that you all talked about on the phone and you're having all these sexual feelings or whatever it is for this person. Make sure that you protect yourself. Make sure that you all, of course, are talking about these things or getting consent. That it's okay for both of you to, of course, have sex and that kind of thing. Just don't go, of course, to this date and expecting sex and that. And if just keep this in mind. I'll just talk about red flags. If the person that you're, of course, on a date with is only talking about sex and your body and titties and ass and all this kind of stuff, keep in mind that this person must just want sex only, and that's not, and they're not wanting anything long term with you. So if you're okay with that, then go ahead and have sex with them. If not, don't do it. I guess the only thing I can tell you, you're grown. You can make that determination on your own. But like I said, when it comes up to this particular part of the sex, if you're looking to, of course, like I said, make sure that you, of course, think about whether sex is something that you even want to do on a first date. You have to make that determination, not the other person. I don't care how handsome or how sexy they may look, whatever it is. If you're not wanting to have sex on a first date and that's not in your plans or even in your repertoire, make sure that you're not doing those things. I don't care what those folks are telling you or what the people on the other side of the table is telling you. Like I said, if sex is something that you're not planning on doing, then don't do it. But of course, if sex is something that you're wanting to do and you feel like you want to do and you don't care about this and that and you want to just go ahead and have sex with this person, if they're consenting to do so, make sure that you both are consenting and make sure that you all have some type of protection, some condoms, something with you, I guess I put it that way, to make sure there's no babies going on, there's no pregnancies going on or STDs going on, that kind of thing at all. They have dental dams. There's all kind of stuff you can buy, condoms and dental dams and the foam and all that kind of stuff, and make sure that you have something to at least protect yourself, especially if this is the first date, first 5 dates or whatever. You barely know this person, so I would suggest just keep your legs closed. But like I said, some people are carried away and want to have sex and have the feelings, and you had good conversation and you want to go ahead and move forward. It's up to you to go ahead and do that, but just make sure that you both are consenting to, of course, having the sex. And then, of course, make sure that you, of course, have protection with you all, so that you're not just out here just making babies and all this kind of stuff, or getting STDs without even knowing this person and not even know what you're getting yourself into. So like I said, protect yourself. That's always what I say if sex does come up. Now, if sex, the physical act did not come up, but they're asking you questions about monogamy or whether you like sex or I don't know what kind of sex you like, whatever it is, that is your choice to, of course, decide whether you want to talk about those things. If you don't feel comfortable talking in your first few dates with this person about whatever kind of sex you like, that kind of thing, if they're bringing it up, you don't have to talk about that. You can choose to, I guess, let them know that you don't feel comfortable talking about that. You're in the first date, that kind of thing, and can you all talk about something else? And if that person, of course, is respectful of you, they'll go ahead and move on to something else. Of course, they may ask why, that kind of thing. It's up to you whether you want to respond to that. But like I said, you definitely have to lay down your ground rules and your non-negotiables, especially when it comes to the sex act and the sex conversation when you all are trying to have dates and going on dates and things like that. So keep that in mind. And I want to say that's all my 10 things to think about, y'all, when y'all go on dates. So like I said, definitely keep these things in mind. Because like I said, I know a lot of folks can, of course, be out here dating and all these things are going on. And you're asking all these questions trying to find out who this person is. But then, of course, like I said, sometimes we do get caught up in the dates, and sometimes people do get desperate. I've been desperate at one point, wanting a date and what's going on and why haven't I had a date? Is there something wrong with me? That kind of thing. And I had to realize myself that no, it's not me. I have to work on myself more, I guess I put it that way, and not just be out here looking for the next date, the next date, the next date. Only date when you feel comfortable and when it feels like something that you want to, of course, pursue. I don't care who you're talking to, who you're dealing with. If it's nothing that you want to pursue, don't have anybody trying to, you should be out here dating, you should be out here doing this. You're 40 years old, you ain't been on a date in 10 years. Okay, so what? That's your life, unless you let them know that you're going to live your life the way that you want to live your life. So like I said, I just definitely hope that these 10 things to think about whenever you do have your next first date or your next date, if it's the first day or like the first 5 or 10 dates, that kind of thing. Like I said, these are definitely some things that you can definitely think about when it comes time for dating. The first one, I don't know them all in number, but it was first impressions matter. Of course, relax and be yourself. Have the conversation light, I guess, in order to like get to know the person, that kind of thing as well. Be nice and not angry and not hardcore, and you're talking, cursing, that kind of thing. Make sure that you keep that to a minimum. And make sure that you're picking up on those nonverbal cues, especially if that person is seeming uninterested in this particular date. You know that you, like I said, you have the right to end this date. You don't have to stay on a date with anybody, especially if they're showing you that they're not able to respect you, that they're not, of course, interested in the conversation that you're having. Like I said, you have the right as a man or a woman to end that date and not keep it going just because this person is sitting there. Let them know that you're leaving, you don't want to be on this date, and that you're done, I guess, if that's all you want to say. But like I said, you have the right to end that date, especially if you're not being respected or listened to. And the next thing, of course, is listening to each other and not being disrespectful. Saying goodbye, and of course, what you all want to do as far as the next date, no date, whatever you all want to do, you have to decide that for yourself. And of course, if you're deciding that together, then just talk about it. Paying attention to those red flags, because sometimes, a lot of times, of course, in our first several dates, you can pick up on red flags and things that you should avoid in a person, I guess I put it that way, especially if they're coming off, like I said, disrespectful, emotionally abusive, or talking about how they hit some woman or man in the past, or anything along those lines, or anything that they're talking about they love cheating, they don't care about being monogamous, and that's something that you want to do. Like I said, definitely make sure that you know that that's a red flag, and you're again welcome to, of course, end that date and let them know that you're not interested in them. Of course, like I said, rejection, everybody goes through rejection. Just make sure that you're keeping your ego out of it and not, of course, get mad at this person because they don't want to date you. Keep in mind that everybody is not for everybody whenever you're dating or even in a relationship as well. At some point, some people do realize that everybody is not for everybody. So like I said, just keep that in mind, y'all. And of course, like I said, if sex comes up in the conversation or the act, I guess I put it that way, you have a right to decide yes or no, whether you want to talk about those things and whether you want to have sex with this person. Some folks do sleep with each other on the first date, and some folks don't. If that's your non-negotiable, stick with what you know and do not go outside of that just because this person's, oh, honey, I love you on the first date, which I doubt they do. That's another red flag. But like I said, just keep that in mind and make sure that you know going into these dates, I don't care what date it is, but make sure that you know what your non-negotiables are and what you will and will not put up with out of this other person. So like I said, these are the 10 things that I went over with you all talking about dates. So I hope you enjoyed this video, y'all. And I hope that you learned something out of this or something that sparked in your mind, something that you can do on your next date if you're taking the next date soon or whenever your next date is. So like I said, definitely, I know I asked you all about in the beginning of the video, if you all need a list of like icebreaker questions for a date so that you can know what kind of questions to, of course, ask a date, on a date, that kind of thing. Make sure that you're putting that down in the comments so I can make that for you all if you all want something like that. So like I said, again, I'm Tonetta, your relationship coach here at Speak Your Truth, where I help educate and inspire you to be who you, to be who you are, and to, of course, speak your truth within your relationship. So with that, I want to say thank you all for tuning in. Everybody have a great night and take care, y'all. Bye-bye.